Obviously, as you all know, our president, President Donald J. Trump, has addressed to some extent the situation that the Afrikaners face in South Africa. This is a minority population that is subject to an obscene number of racially discriminatory laws passed by a parliament that is not interested in economic prosperity, but rather interested in pushing sort of woke agenda on behalf of a people less native to that land than the Afrikaners themselves. So we think it's something that needs more discussion. We think it's a topic and a subject that merits scrutiny and attention from Americans and from all the people of the world as we look at what's happening to a country with great infrastructure, the best economy in Africa as it recedes under poor leadership, and looking at individuals who are able and willing to build a community that is self-sustaining in that extremely harsh environment is something that's notable, inspirational, and newsworthy. And we think it's something that's very interesting, and we're very pleased to welcome them here tonight. So with that, I'll let Dr. Ernst Roets come up to introduce a little bit more about the broader situation. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for that, Nathan. I hope you don't mind me speaking with a glass of wine in my hand. It's really, really great to be back, and we are really flattered and grateful to see that there's so much interest in our situation. We, as the Afrikaner people in South Africa, have felt very rejected for several decades. We felt like we knew we were right in the sense that we knew the stories that have been told about us aren't true. I mean, I know my parents, I knew my grandparents, I knew my great-grandparents, and I know that they are and were good people. And yet, everywhere we go, we hear just how horrible they are and how evil they are and how racist they are when they haven't taught me anything racist growing up. And we've gotten to a point where I don't think we've lost faith in ourselves, but at a certain point, we started to lose faith in the rest of the world, meaning that we felt so rejected that we thought that maybe that this is just a battle that we've lost, and we're never going to have friends outside of South Africa again. And I'm very happy that that is changing, and I'm very happy to be here. Thank you. Now, I don't have a prepared speech. I only have a few ideas I want to share with you, and I want to start with reference to an Afrikaans philosopher that I quoted last time I spoke with you, a man named N.P. van Wyk Lou, who wrote that you love a people not first and foremost because of their accomplishments, but because of the hardships that they've had to endure. And it's something worth thinking about. But I would add something to that to say you love a people or a culture because of their hardships, but if you can see that they are working to get through those hardships, if there are accomplishments between the hardships, or if they experience hardships as a result of accomplishments in the past, or if they can achieve accomplishments as a result or despite the hardships. And I say this not first and foremost with reference to us, I will get to that, but also with reference to a city like New York. And so the hardships that a place like New York has to experience with people who don't appreciate this place is something that resonates with us as well. And I think it's not just because I've spent some time here, but also New York is one of the great cities in the world. And it's a Western city, and it was built by the West. And another thing that I'm really grateful for, a development over the last few years, especially perhaps the last 5 years, is how Western peoples all over the world have started to join forces. Because we've started to recognize that we're all under threat, we're all under attack. And it might be for different reasons, and our circumstances might be different. There are a lot of things in America that are that are worse than we have it in South Africa. A lot of the DEI stuff, the woke stuff, is really bad over here, probably worse than anywhere. And we have some problems in South Africa that is certainly worse than America. And I think we have certain things in common. And one of the things we have in common is we are also a Christian nation, and we are Westerners. And it's remarkable just to consider the parallels between the Afrikaner people and the American people, with the arrival in South Africa or the arrival in America, interactions with people we come across. We had our own great track, or the pioneers moving towards the interior, as you had the people moving towards the west of America, founding republics. We had our own federal system, you might liken it to a federal system. And so historically, and now we're under attack as well. But there is so much in common. And obviously there are differences because cultures differ. And that's the beauty of cultures, is not to try to make them all the same, but to appreciate the differences and to appreciate the beauty in the differences. But also to recognize that even though cultures might differ, from a civilizational perspective, we're part of the same civilization. And for that reason, we are very grateful, after having believed that we've been rejected, that there's so much interest. And for example, that this house is so full tonight. And I was told that if we had a bigger venue, there would have been more people because it was sold out. And so we're really grateful about that. Now, just in terms of South Africa, my friend and colleague Joost will talk more about Orania, and I'm very happy that they can share their story with you. It's a project that I would really encourage you all to support, and I'm sure Joost will talk about that and how you can support. But just a quick story of where we are in South Africa. The one way to put it is to say that in South Africa, if South Africa is a ship, firstly, the ship is headed in the wrong direction. But what has become more important than the fact that it's headed in the wrong direction is the fact that it's sinking. And there's a difference between a ship heading in the wrong direction and a ship that is sinking. It's headed in the wrong direction in terms of the policies that they are trying to implement in South Africa, where, for example, there's this process to change the constitution or to sideline the constitution, to empower the government or the state to expropriate private property without compensation, as they say, which is just theft or confiscation. And there are all these really radical leftist policy ideas that they are trying to implement, and it's really dangerous. We've spoken last time I was here about the race laws. There's more than 140 race laws in South Africa today, which, as far as we know, is the most race laws there's ever been in a government ever. But that's the ship headed in the wrong direction. But the ship is also sinking. And when we say the ship is sinking, we mean the government is collapsing. So if in America you would say that the purpose of the government is to protect life, liberty, and property, the South African government isn't doing any of those things. And that's the basic functions of a government. Firstly, to keep your people safe, to protect what people have, and to ensure that people are free or have at least some degree of freedom. But exactly the opposite is happening in South Africa. And so it's ironic, and yet you could say it was predictable, that all of these metrics that they made all these promises about in the 1990s about what the future of South Africa would look like, none of them have come true. So unemployment is increasing, crime is increasing, service delivery is collapsing, water problems are increasing, electricity problems are increasing. So virtually every metric you can think of what a government is supposed to be doing, it's going down. And so it's going to lead to some point. There has to be some form of a, as we say in Afrikaans, ontknoping. Something has to happen. And that might mean that things will get worse. It might also mean that things will get better. And it's our job to work to ensure that when something happens, when South Africa changes, not if, but when, it changes for the better. And thank you. And there are different ways in which things could get worse, but there are also different ways in which things could get better. But we do think all the ways in which things could get better in South Africa should be based on the idea of decentralization of power and the principle of self-governance. And I think to the extent that America has had self-governance is also the reason why America has become such a great nation. The fact that people are involved with their own communities, that people are in control of their own destiny. And when that is taken away from you, it's only a downward slope from there. And so we need that to happen. And if I can make a request to you, the audience here, let me firstly say that we are very happy that the American administration has taken note of this, that we hear them talking about this and we see them talking about this, and it has resulted in serious ruptions back home in South Africa. And so the metaphor we use is it's like a buffalo that is injured. It's at its most dangerous because it's at its weakest, and that's sort of the feeling we get back at home at the moment. And so there has been talk about relocation, about getting people who want to get out of South Africa to come to America. And there are people who want to do that. But I think it's also important for us to get the message across and for you to help that even though there are people who want to do that, we, the Afrikaner people, we still want a homeland. We don't have one. And so we need to find a solution in South Africa as well. And that could take different forms. But it's important for us to get the message across in America that if people want to come to America, I know not only am I sure that they would make great Americans, I know that they do, those who have come here already. But many of us want to stay, and we want to be friends with America, and we want to trade with America and cooperate and so forth. And so there has to be what you could say sort of a two-tier solution. If people want to come, they should be able to come. But America can help a lot. It's not America's job to fix our problems, and we don't think America should or anyone else should. We want to fix our own problems. But if America and if people in America can help convey this message and help contribute in tangible ways to ensure that there's a practical solution in South Africa for people to get self-governance, it would really help a lot. And so I'll leave you with that. Once again, thank you very much. It's a great privilege to be here, and I really feel like I'm at home, and I'm really grateful for all the friends we've been able to make in New York over time. And I'm really happy for the people I've met so far during this trip and tonight, and I'm looking forward to engaging with you through the rest of the evening. Thank you very much.